All right, so the NBA season starts today, and if you're like me, you're probably pretty excited about the NBA season starting up. Been waiting on it for quite a while now, and I thought this is the perfect time to bring back this channel. So I have not uploaded a video on this JCB channel in probably a year and a half at this point. It's been quite a while, so this is going to take me some time to get back into the swing of things, but it's going to be slightly different than the videos I used to upload. If y'all did watch those videos, and if you're new to the channel, welcome in. Appreciate it if y'all do subscribe if you're looking forward to the NBA season like me. But we're going to start off by basically predicting the NBA season. I'm going to come on and talk about award winners. I'm going to talk about teams that I think could win the finals and give y'all my finals prediction very early in the season before the season even starts, as well as my award winner predictions and why I think those guys are well equipped to win these awards this season. And it's something that we'll probably come back and react to here in several months at the end of the season and talk about where I was right and where I was wrong, because I'm sure there are going to be some things that I'm going to be way off about. But yeah, without further ado, I think the first thing we should start with is awards. And we're going to start off just looking at some FanDuel odds. We're going to come in here and we're going to start with Coach of the Year, because I think that's a good place to start. And my prediction for Coach of the Year this year is actually going to be one that might be a little bit out of left field, but it's a team that I think is going to be better than most people think, and that is Ime Udoka of the Houston Rockets. And I'm going to talk about the Rockets later on this video as well for another award. While I don't expect the Rockets to win the finals or anything like that, I think they are a team that is going to exceed expectations. I think they're deep, I think they're really talented, and I think they're a team that could strongly challenge for a playoff spot. And if they do more than just challenge for a playoff spot and can find a way to be a borderline top 6 seed, is that going to win Coach of the Year? I think it definitely could, because I have a hard time thinking Joe Mazzulla or Tom Thibodeau or a guy like that who has one of the very best rosters in the league is going to be a winner of that award despite them being the favorite. And I mean, you could make an argument for a guy like Mark Daigneault, because I think the Thunder are going to be exceptional. But for me personally, I have a hard time voting for a Coach of the Year or predicting a Coach of the Year for a team that is truly exceptional on paper and expected to be a championship contender going into the season, which is why a team that I think has a lot of talent, but also a team that I think is being very overlooked in the Houston Rockets makes a lot of sense. Ime Udoka is a great coach. He has turned the culture in Houston around very quickly, and I think that team with guys like Jabari Smith and Alperen Şengün and Jalen Green hopefully continuing to evolve and continuing to improve as a basketball player, not to mention obviously a Fred VanVleet, Reed Shepherd, who, spoiler alert, we'll talk about later this video, Tari Eason, etc., Dylan Brooks. There's a lot of depth to this team, a lot of talent to this team, and I think it's a roster that's being overlooked and a team where very much they could exceed expectations. They could be a playoff contender and a playoff team, and if they were to be a playoff team, I see no reason why a guy like Ime Udoka wouldn't be a serious candidate for Coach of the Year, and he's actually going to be my prediction to win it. Now, Sixth Man of the Year is a crapshoot. It 100% is, but my prediction is Naz Reid, if he winds up being a sixth man throughout the year for enough games. The question with a guy like Naz Reid is what type of minutes will he play and what type of role will he play? I expect the Timberwolves will likely start Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, although it'll be interesting to see how that works. And if that is the case, I think Naz Reid will likely play 25 minutes a game at least. He's going to play a lot off the bench. He's a really capable shooting big, ball handling big, pretty versatile defender. Definitely a player who emerged in a lot of ways last season and was really, really effective through the Timberwolves throughout the regular season and into the playoffs last year, and will likely play a massive role on that team. A guy who I could 100% see being on the lineup for their closing lineups late in close games this season. Like, I would not be surprised at all to see Randle and Naz Reid be the front court for the Timberwolves down the stretch of games, and Rudy Gobert actually on the bench. And I think Naz Reid coming off the bench is one of the biggest luxuries that any NBA team in the league has. The Timberwolves having Dante DiVincenzo and Naz Reid as bench options for that team, they are so deep and so good. I mean, DiVincenzo, I think, is a serious candidate in his own right, to be completely honest. But if I had to predict right now, Naz Reid is my prediction for Sixth Man of the Year this NBA season. Most Improved Player is a hard award to predict as well, because the favorite right now is Victor Wembanyama. And while I think Wemby's going to improve massively, I already, in my mind, think of him as a top 20 player in basketball. I think he's a truly elite generational talent. I'm sure I will talk about Wemby a ton on this channel this season because he's going to be a lot to talk about. With that being said, is he really a guy who's going to be most improved? To me, that doesn't make a ton of sense with the spirit of the award. My prediction is actually going to be Josh Giddey from the Bulls. Now, the Bulls are going to have to be decent for this to be the case. But while I am not a fan of the trade the Bulls made, trading Caruso to the Thunder for Josh Giddey, I feel like they could have gotten much better value. And honestly, a player who fits their roster and their need on their roster more, I do believe Josh Giddey in a in a bad team, but in a big role, is likely going to be a guy who could easily average 20 points, 8 or 9 assists, 6 or 7 rebounds, could be a very, very, not super duper efficient, but a decently efficient scorer. If he can shoot the 3 ball at a decently high level, he is an elite level passer, the best sideline out of bounds player probably in the league. They call him the Slob Wizard for a reason. I truly believe Josh Giddey's one of those guys who may be on a bad team, but could see such dramatic increases in his stats that he becomes a very, very good front runner for most improved player. And honestly, another guy, I know I just mentioned it for 6th man of the year, Dante DiVincenzo. Depending on the role, if injuries were to happen on the Timberwolves, if he were to emerge, the way that he's been playing in the preseason, the way that he played at the end of last year, he's a guy who could wind up emerging into a bigger role and putting himself in position to be a contender for most improved player as well. So that's kind of a dark horse name that I would also like to consider for that award. One other player I will just shout out real quickly for most improved player, because this is a tough one to guess. He was a popular candidate last year. He's not as popular a candidate this year, but I think he should be. Cade Cunningham, surrounded with more spacing on the Pistons, in a position now to finally thrive, I think, for the first time in his career. He's a guy who we should not be sleeping on as a candidate for most improved player as well. So I think he's a great choice there. Defensive player of the year. If you don't think Victor Wembanyama is winning Defensive Player of the Year, I don't know what to tell you, to be completely honest. I think he is the runaway favorite, and for good reason. I would be stunned if he doesn't win it. I think he's already the most impactful defensive player in all of basketball. Honestly, I thought he deserved to win the award last year, and I think he deserves to win it this year as well. Or at least, I think he will deserve to win it this year. Assuming health with Wemby, he is going to be the most impactful defensive player in the league, and I do think he basically should win this award every single year he's healthy, assuming that he continues to play at the level that he did last season for like ever. I mean, Victor Wembanyama should be a 10-time Defensive Player of the Year, and I'm not even trolling. I think that's the type of impact he's going to have as a player. And yeah, he's my runaway favorite for Defensive Player of the Year. If you predict anybody other than Wemby, I'd honestly love to hear your logic right now. Rookie of the Year. The favorite right now is Zach Edey by a decent margin. I don't think Zach Edey is winning Rookie of the Year. I think he is going to be a little bit too much of a situational player to win Rookie of the Year. I think there are going to be situations in which Zach Edey is a very effective and very important player, and there are also going to be situations where he kind of gets played off the court at times. Now, I love the fact that he's a good free throw shooter. I think that plays dividends in his ability to play on the court late in games. I think he's a little bit better on the perimeter defensively and agility-wise than people give him credit for. At the same time, my runaway favorite personally for Rookie of the Year, the guy I think honestly should have gone number 1 overall in the draft, is Reed Sheppard. I think Reed Sheppard is the most pro-ready player out of this draft, and I don't think it's particularly close. He's a guy who could legitimately challenge for 50, 40, 90 percentages as a rookie. He is a incredibly pro-ready player, seems to play with such control and such impressive pace. He's sneaky athletic. His ability defensively is far better than you would expect out of most 6'2" white dudes, and as a 6'2", 6'3" white dude myself, I understand it. I mean, Reed Sheppard he's a stud, and I think he's being talked about a lot, but not being talked about enough as the Rookie of the Year, in my opinion, favorite. I think Reed Sheppard, as of right now, is easily my favorite for the Rookie of the Year, and then after that, you got a few spots, big gap, and then you got guys like Zach Edey, Stephon Castle, Modest Buzelis. Those are the guys, to me, who I think are in that second tier of Rookie of the Year favorite, but for me, it's got to be Reed Sheppard as Rookie of the Year. And then for the NBA regular season MVP, this is probably not a shocking prediction for those of y'all who might know me. I think Luka Doncic is winning MVP this year. As a Mavs fan myself, a massive Luka fan myself, it just makes sense, man. It just does. Like, Luka is in a position this year where he is going to be the guy, again, put up incredible numbers last year. I mean, he averaged dang near 35-point triple-double. Like, he was unbelievable last year. Made the finals. Will likely be on a team that will win 50, 55 games again this season. I think the Mavs improved in the offseason, bringing in guys like Quentin Grimes, Klay Thompson, Najee Marshall, all of whom are consistently good catch-and-shoot shooters. Klay, obviously one of the greatest shooters of all time, who still shot 40% from 3 last year. I think he's going to have more spacing than ever, more offensive versatility than ever around him, and I think this is going to be one of those years where his efficiency continues to be elite, his playmaking continues to be league-leading and incredible, his scoring is amazing, and I think defensively, he is still overrated on that end of the court, and I do hope that people's perception of Luka defensively shifts a bit as this season progresses, because the Mavs will be on national television a lot. There's going going to be a lot of Dallas Mavericks coverage this year in the national media, which is something that is fun for me as a Mavs fan, but I hope that it provides an opportunity for Luka to change some of the narratives that surround him in the NBA, and I'm very excited to see what happens with Luka this season as well. And then the final prediction that I am going to make right now in this video is my NBA Finals prediction and who I think is going to win the NBA Finals. My Finals prediction, out of the Western Conference, I got the Oklahoma City Thunder. I think they're the best team in the West. I'd love to predict the Mavs. As a homer, I hope the Mavs do win the finals. I hope we make the finals. I hope we have another incredible year. I think the Thunder are the best team in the West, though, and providing health, which, yes, Isaiah Hartenstein's already out for a good month, but he should be back in plenty of time to ramp up and get totally comfortable with his teammates easily by middle of season, let alone end of season. But if they stay healthy, and they're a roster where I think out of their 6 main stars last season, the lowest number of games played was like 71 by Jalen Williams. If that's the case and they're able to stay healthy and have all their main guys healthy into the playoffs, the Thunder are, to me, the easy favorites in the Western Conference. They're so deep. They're so good. They have so much versatility, adding Alex Caruso and Isaiah Hartenstein into the fold of a team that was already elite last season. And I think they are the best team in the West and easily my Western Conference favorites. And Eastern Conference, yes, I know teams like the Sixers got better. The Bucks are still good, although there are some worries surrounding the Bucks. The Knicks got better, and I think Cat is actually a very good player addition for him. Mikal Bridges remains to be seen if he will be able to shoot the ball. His jumper is looking rough right now. But as a whole, I think this Eastern Conference is still going to run through the Boston Celtics. I have a hard time predicting against them. They're so deep. They got 5 of the best 50 players in the league. And Al Horford is an incredible player in his own right. I think they're just deep. I think they're talented. I think Sam Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, guys like that are legit impact players off the bench who can come in and make an impact. And again, provided health, which, yes, KP's out for a while. He's probably going to be out till at least Christmas. But if they're healthy in the playoffs, I see no reason that the East doesn't run through the Celtics, just like with the West and the Thunder. With that being said, my NBA Finals prediction, I am taking the Oklahoma City Thunder over the Boston Celtics in 6 games. I think it's the Thunder's year. I think it's SGA's moment to shine in the playoffs. I hope I'm wrong because I really want my Mavs to win the finals this year. But I think Luka gets regular season MVP. I think SGA and the Thunder win the NBA Finals, and SGA ends up with that Finals MVP. And I think that is how the NBA season for 2024-2025 is going to end. So with that being said, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. First video back on the JCB channel. I'm going to be trying to give y'all pretty much daily uploads, not super intense editing or anything like that, but I hope y'all do enjoy the videos. Excited to bring this channel back. And that's going to do it for this first video. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more JCB content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.